Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Quote for today is from the verse of Quran that translates as He has succeeded who purifies it. Today the topic of representation is public-private partnership and I'm presenting it under the supervision of Professor Dr. Saira Hussain. Learning outlines of the presentation are introduction, types of public-private partnership, models of public-private partnership in healthcare system, public-private partnership in Pakistan, CPEC Pakistan, recent updates and MCQs at the end. At the end of this presentation, participants will be able to describe the public-private partnership, its components, models, and application in healthcare. Also, what is CPEC, projects under CPEC, and prospects. Introduction is public-private partnership means a partnership between the public sector represented by a government agency and a private party for the provision of an infrastructure facility or service with a clear allocation of risk between the parties. Public-private partnership between an agency of the government and the private sector in the delivery of goods or services to the public. Main principles of public-private partnership are that it is based on two main principles. First is that both parties invest in the project in a financial sense, and the parties contribute to a societal and often a commercial purpose. Types are following are the types of public-private partnership arrangements, civil works and civil service contracts, lease and affirmage contract, management, operation and maintenance contracts, concessions or joint venture or government shareholding in project company, and full privatization. Public-private partnership versus privatization. Now, what's the difference and what are the comparing reasons? Privatization describes the process by which a piece of property or business goes from being owned by the government to being privately owned. It generally helps governments save money and increase efficiency, where private companies can move goods quicker and more efficiently. Under privatization, the responsibility for delivery and funding a particular service rests with the private sector. Public-private partnership, on the other hand, involves full retention of responsibility by the government for providing the service. Public-private partnership structure. A typical public-private partnership structure can be quite complex, involving contractual arrangements between several parties, including the government, project sponsor, project operator, financiaries, suppliers, contractors, third parties such as escrow agent and customers. This picture shows the structure where government finances, sponsors, and project company all are involved. Following are the models of public-private partnership, that is design, build, DB, operation, maintenance, contract, design, build, finance, build, own, operate, transfer, buy, build, operate, buy, lease, operate, operation, license, and finance only. Another description of these are design, build, DB. The private sector partner designs and builds the infrastructure to meet the public sector partners' specifications, often for a fixed price. The private sector partner assumes all risk. Operation and maintenance contract, the private sector partner under contract operates a publicly owned asset. For a specific period of time, the public partner retains ownership of the assets. Design, build, finance, operate. The private sector partner designs, finances, and constructs a new infrastructure component and operates it under a long-term lease. Now, build, own, operate, that is BOO, the private sector partner finances, builds, own, and operates the infrastructure component in perpetuity. The public sector partners' constraints are stated in the original agreement and through on regulatory authority. Build, own, operate, transfer, BOOT. This private sector partner is granted authorization to finance, design, build, and operate an infrastructure for specific period and after which ownership is transferred back to public sector. Then is buy, build, operate. This publicly owned asset is legally transferred to a private sector partner for designated period. Build, lease, operate. The private sector partner designs, finances, and builds a facility on leased public end. Operation license. The private sector partner is granted a license or other expression of legal permissions to operate a public service, usually for a specified term. Finance only. The private sector partner, usually a financial services company, funds the infrastructure component and charges the public sector partner interest for use of funds. This shows public-private partnership in healthcare system. Facility-based healthcare public-private partnerships implemented globally to develop a typology of common public-private partnership business models, highlighted in the series to identify leading practices and innovations in healthcare to develop supporting criteria for successful implementation. Features of common public-private models in healthcare: finance, design, build, maintain, operate, and deliver. Now, what is finance? This shows financing or co-financing of the project, design of the project, including design of the infrastructure and care delivery model. Build is the construction or renovation of the facilities. To maintain is the maintenance of hard infrastructure. Operation is applicable equipment and supply of these. Deliver is the delivery and management of specified clinical and clinical support services. Most of the facility-based bundles these functions into three models. First is infrastructure-based model. Second is discrete clinical service model. Third is integrated public-private partnership model. Types of models in healthcare. Common models are contracting in and out, build, that is rehabilitate, operate or transfer, demand supply, joint ventures, mobile health units, telemedicine, franchising, social marketing, public-private mix. A sense of public-private partnership, financing versus delivery. Public is financing and private financing is what public delivery in public hospitals and private delivery in contracting demand supply side fill. And in public delivery, private partnership shows international disease like TB, HIV control initiatives and private delivery in private hospitals. Ideal strategy for strong public-private partnership involves three main things, that is regulation and institutional system. Both these combine and give infrastructure service delivery. This table shows advantages and risks of public-private partnership. As there are advantages of everything, there are disadvantages and risks at the same time. Public-private partnership in Pakistan. When did public-private partnership started in Pakistan? The mandate was supported by Pakistan policy on public-private partnership was initially approved in 2007 by the Economic Coordination Committee. This was replaced with a revised policy that was approved by ECC on 26 January 2010. Transition of public-private partnership in Pakistan. Following this policy, the decision of federal government in 2006, infrastructure project development facility. The mandate was supported by the Pakistan policy on public-private partnership initially in 2007. Till 2017, it helped develop structured, procure and implemented 4 mega projects that were approximately 140 billion. In 2017, it was converted into Public-Private Partnership Authority. And the act was given, that is P3A Act in 2017. On July 2020, the President issued the Public-Private Partnership Authority Amendment Ordinance in 2020, amending the Federal Public-Private Partnership Act to create a more facilitative regulatory framework. In addition to the federal initiative, each of the four provinces, Sindh, Punjab, Balochistan, and KPK, has its own specific roster of projects and policies to promote. Public-private partnership in Pakistan. In the late 2019, the Prime Minister approved a development plan expected to run from the fiscal year 2020 to 2023, termed the Public Sector Development Program, plus initiative firmly orienting the government towards the public-private partnership across sectors. The construction of an innovations ecosystem, the conversion of guest house located in Lahore, the creation of mass transit facility in the major city Karachi Circular Railway, and the modernization of the current Karachi rail track. Public-private partnership in Punjab. It was announced in July 2020 that several new projects will be initiated, including clean drinking water projects in the capital city of Lahore, a vehicle fitness testing system projects, and a zero waste material recovery project. These projects were started under public-private partnership in 2019. In Sindh, Sindh has multiple ongoing projects, including the Beji Special Economic Zone project and Education Management Organization project. In Balochistan 2018, Balochistan passed the Balochistan Public-Private Partnership Act and last year introduced an amendment bill to reduce legal ambiguities in the legislation. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Public-Private Partnership Act was given in 2020. It just passed by the end in the currently process of being implemented. Public-private partnership in healthcare system in Pakistan. Pakistan's current sector-specific approach with little acknowledgement, coordination, and recognition of interlinked stakeholders and factors does little to help in crises like these. Public health is seemingly being at the bottom of the priority list, whether the challenge is long-term like smoke, medium-term like dengue, or more immediate or severe like heat waves and droughts. The cherry on the top is the deep mistrust among public and private sectors, the latter often being looked as a competitor and negative disruptor rather than as a valuable partner. The inevitability of a global pandemic has been on the radar for years, and this needs public-private partnerships, stakeholders in the health sector. The Global Health Security Index, which assesses countries in terms of pandemic preparedness, this time to act today is before we are already loaded in healthcare system begins to scramble. This picture shows the index map of global health security. Now, CPEC Authority, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, that is CPEC, is a framework of regional connectivity. CPEC was formally launched in 2015 with a value of 46 billion. However, today the cumulative value of all CPEC projects has amplified considerably. Mission was to improve the lives of the people of Pakistan and China by building an economic corridor, promoting bilateral connectivity, construction, explore potential bilateral investment, economic and trade, logistics, and people-to-people contract for regional connectivity. Ongoing projects about energy, transport, infrastructure, and Gawada projects, these are shown as a part of the CPEC projects. Infrastructure projects that may be included in these are the Peshawar-Karachi motorway, Orange Line motorway station, cross-border optical fiber, pilot projects of digital terrestrial multimedia broadcast, etc. These are the public health projects, all shown in the slides. Now, institutional framework of CPEC. It is involving Joint Cooperation Committee that is involving planning, transport infrastructure, industrial parks, special economic zones, international cooperation, coordination, agriculture corporation, etc. Now coming towards the recent updates. An article recently published is Do Public-Private Partnership Investment in Energy and Technological Transfers Improves Environmental Quality to Achieve Sustainable Environment Agenda? Evidence from Pakistan. This shows that to find the relationship among economic growth, import-export, public-private partnership investment, and technological changes on carbon-based emissions under the environment curve premises during the period of 1980 to 2019 for Pakistan. The study results suggested that a reduction in the use of non-renewable energy through public-private investment and the use of renewable energy source is related to energy efficiency policy. The consumption of non-renewable energy source is high in Pakistan as compared to the renewable energy sources. Another article published is regarding 2019 COVID-19 testing crisis management through public-private partnership in Sindh, Pakistan. This shows that the government of Sindh province of Pakistan entered into a public-private partnership with Indus Hospital and Health Network. Under this partnership, the government of Sindh undertook sample collection in the hospital in Karachi and centralized testing was done. Now coming towards the MCQ session. First MCQ is public-private partnerships are typically found in transport infrastructure such as highways, airports, etc. Examples of municipal and environmental infrastructures include water and wastewater facilities. What is the ingredient common to all types of public-private partnership? Option A is the public sector transfers the overall responsibility to provide the public service. B is value for money will be the basic criteria for public sector. Option C is no balance sharing of the risk and gains between public sector and private. D is the parties does not contribute to societal and often commercial purpose. And E is that both the sectors are accountable for quality and cost of service at district level only. Option B is the right one. Value for money will be the basic criteria. Second MCQ is a public-private partnership is a partnership between the public sector and private sector for the purpose of delivering a project or a service traditionally. What distinguishes each type of the model from one another? Option A, the degree of risk and responsibility borne by the private sector partner. Option B, the degree of risk and responsibility borne by the private partner. The private sector partner will bring in most of the investment requirements. Option D is the degree of risk and responsibility borne by the foreign agencies. And option E, taking into consideration the perspectives of the overseas sector. Option A is the right one for this MCQ. Third is the private sector partner, usually a financial services company, funds the infrastructure component and charges the public sector partner interest for the use of fund. This comes under which of the following model? Option A, LOT, option B, BOOT, option C, BOT, and option D, DBFO, and option E, funds only. Option E is the right one. Funds only is the answer. Option MCQ 4 is privatization describes the process by which a piece of property or business goes from being owned by the government to being privately owned. The main difference is option A, there is no permanent transfer of the ownership of assets to private partner. Option B, the responsibility and accountability to deliver the goods remain with the static or public sector. Option C is the besides the transfer of ownership to private sector, accountability is also shifted to purchaser. Option E is under privatization, the responsibility for delivery and funding a particular service rests with both the public and private sector. Option B is the right one. Fifth is from 1990 to 2019, Pakistan witnessed 108 financially closed projects with a total investment of approximately $28 billion. In Pakistan, the public-private partnership is applicable for option A, service sector, Option B, infrastructure. Option C, manufacturing. Option D, industrial improvement. And option E, trade. Option B, infrastructure is the right one. Sixth MCQ is 2017. Many successfully project IPDF was developed, structured, and helped procure and implemented 4 mega projects worth approximately 140 billion. It was converted into which of the following authority? Option A, Public-Private Progress Authority. Option B, Public-Private Partnership Authority. Option C, Public-Private Development Authority. Option E, Public-Private Infrastructure Authority. Public-Private Advancement Authority. Option B is the right one, Public-Private Partnership Authority. Seventh MCQ is healthcare systems are increasingly strained and are struggling with how to expand access and deliver high quality healthcare services, all while controlling cost to provide comprehensive package of infrastructure and service delivery. Which of the following model is applicable? Option A, infrastructure based model. B is discrete clinical service model. C, integrated model. D, public private partnership agreement. And E, joint venture. Option C is the right one, integrated model. Eighth MCQ is public-private partnerships are long-term and complex arrangements which require a thorough understanding of duties and responsibility, ties and sharing of the risk between the parties. Public-private partnerships also incorporates a progressive change in the role of public sector. The ideal strategy is which of the following? A is cost plus expensive infrastructure. Option B, defined roles plus inflexible objective. Option C, legal framework plus policy system. Option D, risk assessment and long management plans. And option E is project agreements and payment obligations. Option C is the right one. Ninth MCQ is which city of the Pakistan is the crux of CPEC project as it is envisaged to be linked between China's ambitious One Belt, One Road projects and its maritime Silk Road projects. Option A is Islamabad, B Lahore, C Karachi, D Gwadar and E Rawalpindi. Option D is the right one, Gwadar is the city. 10th MCQ is under Pak-China Economic Corridor, a high-speed railway track will laid at the cost of $2.8 billion from Peshawar to which of the following city? Option A Lahore, option B Karachi, option C Gwadar, option D Kashgar and option E Islamabad. Option B is the right one, Karachi is the city. This is the key of MCQs and thank you.